What's happening, all man? Thanks for tuning in. Um, yeah, Dillian, Whyte, Tyson Fury. Let's talk about that, man. Before we do, um, thanks for stopping by, man. Thanks for hearing me out. Happy holidays and all that, man. Hope everyone had a good Christmas. And yeah, so I really don't understand the logic of Dillian Whyte here. I mean, a lot of people's been saying, Fury is maneuvering around him, Fury is trying to avoid him. But you got to understand, Dillian Whyte is the mandatory right now, so Solomon has confirmed that he is the mandatory, So, I mean, if he is the mandatory, then why continue to go to arbitration, to get more money? I mean, at the end of the day, if they don't agree on a price, it's going to go to a bid anyway, right? A purse bid, to my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, So, I mean, it doesn't make sense to try to force amount of money from the sanctioning fees or whatever he's trying to do, man. Whyte, I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish here. He's also had a similar thing happen to him with the AJ fight, where AJ offered him $5 million, and he turned that down. So I mean, it's I know with fighting Joshua, the fighters always want the biggest payday of their life and all that, because AJ is the cash cow at the end of the day. I understand that, but in this case, he's the mandatory. In the other case, AJ was fighting him as a voluntary. So it's very hard to get the cut that you want. Being a voluntary fighter. So Whyte is the mandatory, man. What's the point of trying to force the WBC to push for more money? I'm thinking, is Dillian Whyte afraid that if he loses, he may not get the same amount of money? I mean, what is his intentions here? I don't understand what he's trying to accomplish. I know that he's a pay-per-view fighter. I know that he has been a pay-per-view fighter for a while. But, you got to consider that Tyson Fury did beat Klitschko in his backyard. He did beat Wilder in his backyard. He's obviously going to be the one that's going to get the bigger cut. At the end of the day, regardless of the cut, man, if Dillian Whyte wins, he will be in control. That's what I always say about these situations. Once you're the mandatory, regardless of the cut, obviously you want to get the best deal. But I mean, if the best deal is a 40% deal or a 30% deal, man, if you win and you back yourself and you know that you're going to win, man, and you put in that work, you put in that hard work, and you train hard and you win the fight, once you win, you're in full control. You know what I mean? So, I mean, let's just say, Fury goes to fight someone else, which WBC has confirmed that he's allowed to do so, without the belt. I don't know how that's going to play out, if it's going to be an exhibition fight, or I don't know how they're going to title it as, because he is the champion. But let's just say he goes to fight for a non-title match or whatever they're deciding to do, man, and something happens to him or he gets knocked out, it makes the fight with Whyte even less, of a fight. You know what I mean? It makes it even worse for his situation. So, I mean, he might as well just get that title shot. And not only that, man, you also got to consider that Fury could possibly get injured. People in his family could get sick. Anything could happen, It's those times now where you got to just get what you can in anything, You got to take the risk because you may not get another shot, man, especially with all these bans and all these restrictions and all these rules that are coming into place, and it's not going to get any easier. We do have full capacity crowds now that they can fight in the US. I understand in the UK it's not that good, but I mean, Whyte's always said that he's wanted to debut in the US. If they can't make the fight in the UK with the full crowd, hey, why not have it in the US, man, in Vegas? I'm sure that a lot of people will show up to that fight, especially because Fury won his last fight. I'm sure that he has gained a few fans in Vegas. I may be wrong, but, he's got options here. You know what I mean? There is options for a full capacity crowd right now. Why turn it down? Why try to make things more difficult, man? It could get to the point where they don't even have, fees for the gate. You know what I mean? They don't even have the numbers of people, which will make the pay low, which will make the fight probably postponed. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't know what is thinking. I don't know if his manager's talking to him, man, but I believe this is a bad move. I mean, all Whyte really needs to do is just say, you know what, man, I'm not going to continue with the arbitration. I'm paying the fees, man, for whatever court cases I've got going. Let's make the fight happen now. That's all he needs to do. He is the mandatory, and I believe if he does that, then Solomon will say, yep, Fury fights Whyte next. So that's my take on it, man. It is a bit of a messed up situation, in my opinion. The arbitration doesn't need to go ahead. He's got the mandatory. I thought that the arbitration was to get the mandatory position, but he has the mandatory position, so obviously it's for money, or it's for getting full recognition that he has deserved a higher cut or a higher percentage, and it's unfortunate. I mean, you got to also look at it this way. Dillian Whyte hasn't had a title shot as well. He hasn't had a chance to fight for the title. This may be his only chance, and this may be a chance that he is messing up. Like I said, anything can happen. Tomorrow is guaranteed for nobody. So, I mean, especially in today's time, today's day of age, man, with all these rules and all that, man, these restrictions, you may as well make the fight now while you still can. That's what I'm trying to say. But that's all I really have to say about it, man. Dillian Whyte should just drop the arbitration and fight Fury right now, or else you may not see a title shot in the future. He may not. Tyson Fury's got a few names lined up. Another topic, Helenius and Ruiz as top runners, I believe. Helenius is also, I think, the WBA mandatory. I could be wrong, or the WBA. I know that he fought, what's the guy's name? Karnecki. And that was a title eliminator. I can't remember the sanction. I think it was the WBA, because I believe it's the WBA. So, I mean, if I'm Fury, I'd probably fight Helenius. I know that the Ruiz fight will be a lot more entertaining, a lot more exciting, especially because Fury says, to AJ, you lost to a fat guy, man, and I know that fight is what people will want to see more, and I know that fight will be a lot bigger. I believe that fight will be bigger than Fury versus Whyte in the US, for sure. If restrictions are, how they are in the UK at the moment, Fury versus Ruiz as pay-per-view, no doubt, even if it's not for the title, it's definitely a a blockbuster, a Mexican fighter against the WBC champion. And not only that, Ruiz has been champion too, and I believe he won't really worry about the money too much because he knows that the pay-per-view will sell. That's a fact. So, I mean, that will be the best, move for Fury will be to fight Hellenius, I believe. It'll also get rid of the WBA pressure, because I know that Hellenius wants to fight the winner of AJ versus Usyk, and if he is mandatory or if he is, in a position to get a title, man, that may delay things for Fury, for Undisputed. So I mean, it makes sense for Tyson Fury to just fight Hellenius, get him out of the way, and then you got just the IBF will be the only sanctioning organization available, for a title shot. I believe Martin and Ortiz are in that position right now. They fighting as a title eliminator. So I mean, yeah, it makes sense for Fury to just fight Hellenius, get him out of the way. But like I said, if it's an exhibition, that may not really change things. It just depends how they title this fight. I mean, how do you fight without the belt? It's got to be an exhibition, especially if you're fighting a guy like Hellenius. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to say, man. Whyte needs to drop that arbitration, man, and go for that fight while he can. While things are still good, especially in the US. But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to say. Let me know your take on it, man. Thanks for tuning in, man. I really do appreciate, especially the boxing community, stopping in and leaving their take on situations and things like that, man, about boxing. That's great. But everyone else as well, man, thanks for the support, and let me know your take, man. Thanks for tuning in. God bless. Peace.